Hello there, amazing viewers and subscribers, and welcome to PaulWho Presents Monster of the Week episode 3. So before I get into the actual episode, I do want to apologise that this video has kind of been held back a little bit. It's because I kind of wanted to basically launch my DVD archive series. I didn't know people would want it, but some people have asked me to do a DVD, like a DVD archive. So I was like, I see how the waters go. So I released the first episode, and then basically a few days later I released the second episode, and people really enjoyed the series. People loved it. I got so much good feedback on it. So the DVD archive series is definitely going to continue, but I am trying to work out what day of the week I should basically upload those episodes, the videos to them, basically the next year. The next video will basically be on 2004. I do want to continue on with Monster of the Week, and I do want to continue on with my review series. I was going to release a fourth series, basically Villain of the Week, but it doesn't really work with having this series, Monster of the Week, so I'm going to include like a couple of, when it comes to a bit of an episode later on, it'll still be called Monster of the Week, but I will be putting and villains. So for today, we are basically looking at, for episode 3, my favourite Doctor Who monster, the Sea Devils. I absolutely love the Sea Devils. I don't know what it is about them, but I just genuinely absolutely love them. So the fact the Sea Devils has actually encountered 3 incarnations of the Doctor, technically 4, well, technically 5, if you include 2 Doctors from Big Finish, basically the 4th Doctor in Storm of the Sea Devils and the 9th Doctor in Hidden Deaths. But unfortunately, I haven't listened to them 2 yet. I do have the Storm of the Sea Devils, I just haven't listened to it yet. I have got it in my list to listen to, and I really want to try and get the 9th Doctor one with the Sea Devils, so I'm trying my best to basically get them. So they have encountered basically 5 versions of the Doctor. Well, you could say 6 if you include the comic series with basically 13 and 10. But I'm basically going to include for this video basically the TV side, because I need to experience the Big Finish stories first before I can actually include them into a video of the Sea Devils. I absolutely do love the Sea Devils. I love the aquatic look of them. Now, I absolutely love the Sea Devils. So basically, on screen, we have seen them encounter the 3rd Doctor, John Pertwee, the 5th Doctor, Peter Davison, and of course, more recently, the 13th Doctor, aka Jodie Whittaker. Now, they have had 3 different stories. So we've had them in present day with John Pertwee, we've had them in the future with Peter Davison, and of course we've had them in the past with Jodie Whittaker, which is kind of a little bit of a mixed bag, really, because you got a Jodie Whittaker story that's set in the past, you've got a John Pertwee story set in the present, and you've got a Peter Davison story set in the future. So it's very cool in that retrospective opinion. So if you want to watch the Jodie Whittaker one, then you go watch the John Pertwee one, and then of course you can go and watch the Peter Davison one. Or if you're like me, you'd like to try and watch things in Doctor order or any other type of order, it's normally goes Sea Devils, Warrior, and basically Legend of the Sea Devils. And it's a perfect time to release this video with basically the war between the land and the sea coming out later this year, because that is a Sea Devil spin-off. And I absolutely, again, just love the Sea Devils. I love their design. I love the aquatic nature of them. Now, the Sea Devils design has kind of changed a hell of a lot over the years, with basically the original design from 1972, the fantastic, basically, Japanese sort of design that we see them wear in Warriors of the Deep, and basically the pirate design that we see them wear in Legends of the Sea Devils. So I am going to talk about each of the designs of the Sea Devils, really, and say which one is my favourite before I basically rank the 3 stories of the Sea Devils, which is basically my least favourite to my all-time favourite out of the 3. So the Sea Devils design, I absolutely love all 3 of them. Now, my least favourite design is definitely Warriors of the Deep, because, again, I just don't quite like the samurai design for the Sea Devils. I mean, I prefer if they basically brought back the ones from 1972 design with the fish netting. I know what they try to give them, like more of a futuristic look, and of course having them team up with the Silurians. But I know what they were trying to do, but I kind of wish they kept them to the original design instead of having the stupid helmets put on them. So I would really love to see like the big fin at the back of their heads, like we see in 1972, and of course in Legend of the Sea Devils. Their design is definitely the weak link, but the fact they still use the fantastic disc guns that we see them use in the Sea Devils, it's another great way to continue on with that weapon. It's done so well. I love the sound effects for the Sea Devil in that story. I love the fact they carried on with the original screamer. So when they died, like that, I absolutely love the Sea Devil's death scream, and basically the scream where they're basically running away from basically the Doctor setting off some mines. So I have to talk about the Legend of the Sea Devils design, because it is my next favourite design over the Warriors of the Deep design, but it's not my favourite design. So they have kept the original look from 1972. I don't like the CGI eye they put on in these ones. It really is CGI heavy. Legend of the Sea Devils is very CGI heavy. I really wish they kind of kept the reptilian eyes more like they did back in 1972, where you see that iconic shot with them just kind of looking around in that story. I don't care for the CGI eyes. I have to be honest with you. I really don't care for the whole bit of the CGI. It just looks very, very cringy in basically some scenes. And I'm sorry to say that. It does look very cringy. The fact they are not using the disc guns, but they are basically using swords to kind of fit in with that time period is kind of okay-ish. I really wish they would have brought back the Ice Warrior, the Sea Devil guns. I really wish they kept the Sea Devil guns. There are actually original drawn plans with them using the original guns, but they're like, yeah, you know, let's give them like electric fire swords and stuff, and it's like, no. That doesn't work. But the story itself is generally okay, and I'll talk a bit more about the story when I get to basically when I'm ranking them. And then my favourite design is definitely the original design from 1972, the net dressing design. I love the fact we see fins on their fingers. They are absolutely fantastic. I really love the whole unique design to them. I really like the way how they are very, very aquatic. That iconic shot with them coming out of the sea, and you kind of see them like raising up when they're going to attack the Navy base. Brilliant. Honestly, flat out amazing. I really love that scene. It's really, really great, and I just genuinely love it. So talking about the stories. So in last place, I'm going to have to place basically Legend of the Sea Devils. I know I said Warriors of the Deep was my least favourite story for them, but comparing it to basically Warriors of the Deep and the Sea Devils, Legend of the Sea Devils, it is very, very CGI heavy on the episode. The bit where you see a sea devil kind of jumping onto the pirate ship, very bad CGI effect. It really is. Again with the eyes is basically really bad CGI, because this story is very, very CGI heaven. It's bad CGI heaven. It's like them going to say, oh, we're going to try and do a film like Jaws, but with really bad CGI. That's what it's kind of like. And the one thing I have to put about this story, I like the plot. I actually do quite like the plot. I think the plot works so well. But again, it's the way how you have it on script, and you got to try and get it from script to actual on screen so people can watch it. And I think the script is more better than basically what was going on during the episode. Now, the fact they kept the original Sea Devil scream, brilliant. I honestly love the fact they carried on with that scream when basically you have Neon Young basically putting the sword through the Sea Devil and you hear it scream. I actually did quite enjoy that, because it does give me callbacks to, again, the scream from the Sea Devils. But the story itself, yeah, okay, it's got some good bits with the Doctor recognising the Sea Devil. I really like her and the leader of the Sea Devils, and they're just kind of just talking. I like when the Doctor's there thinking on her feet and she's there talking. I really think that is great Doctor moments. It's a shame that Jodie's Doctor doesn't have a lot of great Doctor moments in her era. And that's just my opinion. I don't think she has many Doctorish moments, but in this episode she has some really good Doctor moments, and I feel like it's a bit too shame for her to have Doctor moments towards the end of her era. It should have been more at the beginning of the era, not basically like this point. And I do quite like the episode. I like the way they're talking. I love the fact that the Doctor just used the Sea Devil's kind of device to basically take the ship up onto the surface, really, I should say. I do quite enjoy the episode. It is definitely a 6 out of 10. But the one thing I don't like about it, it is the CGI heavy it is. It really is very CGI. I'm hoping Land of the Sea isn't this CGI heaven as we see in this story. I should say CGI hell, but the CGI, yeah, it kind of bugs me, but it's still got some good moments for it in CGI. I like I really do like the sword fighting scene with the doctors, with basically the Doctor, Yaz and Dan teaming up with basically the pirate lady, the kind of adult that kind of lost his father because of her, and basically seeing the return of Chang, something like that. The episode itself was quite good, but I kind of wish it was very little bit less CGI. I would really love to see them to keep the actual proper like glass eyes they had in the original props. I really would have to say that. So in second place, I have to put Warriors of the Deep over Legends of the Sea Devils. Now, Warriors of the Deep, again, it's not a great sequel to basically the Sea Devils. Again, it is very, very lore heavy with the return of the Silurians, and they basically want to get their revenge and basically find their aquatic cousins, the Sea Devils. I did say when I did my review, I don't care, well, basically before, I don't care for the Japanese armor type things, but the Sea Devils design, I do like the little big wobbly like throat things they use. I don't care for the helmets. I really wish they would have kept like the fins at the back of them. I really wish they kept the fins in that story. I really wish they did. But they do use the guns from the Sea Devils, basically an up-to-date version of them. And I do quite like the fact they kept the little disc guns for them. And this story is not as bad as people make it out to be. Yes, you've got some silly moments with that woman going to kick the merc and she's there kind of going, hey, 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 ah, like that. Yeah, it's very, very silly, I have to say, but it's mainly average. It's very, very average for a Doctor Who story. Now, the Merca itself in the story, it is very naff. Again, it's very, very naff. Where I could really put this in last place, but Legend of the Sea Devils is just very, very like CGI lore heavy. Where in this story, it's not very much CGI. It's pretty much, yeah, it's very much average. If I could say what I prefer, I prefer not the Merca. I actually prefer the big, massive Sea Devil creature that we see in Legend of the Sea Devils, because that is an absolutely iconic design, and I do love the fact it is very, very big and under the control of the Sea Devils, which I did quite enjoy. I don't think I would ever revisit this story unless I'm rewatching season 21 as a whole. Same with Legend of Sea Devils. I don't really go back and rewatch that story that often. It depends if I'm watching either the whole lot of Series 13 or if I'm rewatching the Whittaker era in general, which, to be honest, I haven't really done that in a while. I mean, basically, I watched it 2 nights ago because I just finished watching Series 13 because I went back and rewatched the Flux because I do have my review on the Flux coming out tomorrow. And I kind of want to talk about Series 13 as a whole, and those 3 specials are part of Series 13. So I have rewatched the whole lot of Series 13 for me to get basically my review out and ready for tomorrow with all my notes. But yeah, I won't really revisit basically Legend of the Sea Devils for a while, and I don't really think I will actually revisit Warriors of the Deep. And basically watching Legend of the Sea Devils, it's made me kind of worry for War Between the Land and the Sea. And I'm very, very worried about that spin-off, because as much as I love the Sea Devils and they are my favourite monster, I love the 1970 version. I really love the 1970s version, the original version of the Sea Devils. So I am very, very worried about how they are going to look in the War Between the Land and the Sea. I might enjoy the spin-off, I might not. It's very much of a mixed bag, because some spin-offs are good. Some spin-offs are middle class, like Class, because I did enjoy Class. But Class is good. It's not great and it's not a masterpiece. If I could say what the 2 masterpieces for spin-offs is, definitely the Sarah Jane Adventures and Torchwood. But I'm very, very worried about the War Between the Land and the Sea. I do need to do a video talking about my worries for the story, because I think if it's going to be anything like Legend of the Sea Devils, very, very CGI heavy, and then I'm going to be absolutely genuinely worried. I really am just going to be genuinely worried. I don't want to be worried. I want to talk about that story. I really want to basically go into that more positive, but watching there's the Sea Devils and basically for them to come back 2 years, well, basically 3 years later and kind of going like that. It's kind of like. So my favourite story for the Sea Devils is their very first one, basically the Sea Devils from 1972. This is definitely the best Sea Devils story in my retrospect opinion. I love it. I love the fact how basically they are getting woken up by the naval base. I love the interference from the Master, played by the fantastic actor Roger D'Agato, who is of course my second favourite Master, with his fantastic machine where it goes like that, like that. I love John Pertwee in this story, the fact that him and Joe are basically in this situation because they are going to visit the Master, and seeing if he's actually still in prison, but the Master being the Master basically hypnotises half the guards and basically get them to do some of his bidding. Which, again, it's very much like the Master thing. But I do love the Sea Devils. It is such an iconic story, and I do love it. The Sea Devils design, I love it. I really love it. My favourite shots, or basically my favourite scenes of the story, is definitely with them coming out of the ocean, and you kind of see them basically floating towards the prison where they are holding the Master. And I love the fact how you got the guards kind of screaming and then they're picking the guns and trying to shoot the Sea Devils, and the Sea Devils are there going like that, and they literally just go around killing them. I love the third Doctor where he literally takes on a Sea Devil. He goes, "Hey!" like that, and he literally knocks one out, and the Sea Devil comes up behind him, and they go, "Doctor, look out!" I just love that. I really love that. I really love John Pope when he goes, "Hi!" like that. And it's really great when you see him against the Sea Devil and he literally knocks one out, and another Sea Devil comes and basically knocks the Doctor out himself. I love it. I really do love that scene. I also love for the Sea Devils, basically, when they're talking to the Doctor about the Doctor trying to make peace between them and the humans, and the Master going, "Do not believe him! Do not believe him!" I absolutely love the Sea Devils. It is a fantastic story. It's a Doctor Master story, but the Sea Devils are brilliant. I mean, the fact this is mainly like a Master story, but the Master's more like a sideline character. And the Sea Devils are basically the ones that do not know who to believe. They don't know if to believe the Doctor. They do not believe the Master. It's a really great plot. It really is a great story. I just absolutely love the Sea Devils. The music itself is absolutely fantastic. It really is fantastic. It's got a great score. It's got a great script written by Malcolm Hulke. Now, Malcolm Hulke is one of my favourite Doctor Who writers. He's in my top 8 Doctor Who writers. Now, when I say my top 8, people think, oh, he's probably going to have Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat in that list. I'm not. Because my favourite Doctor Who writers are classic writers. And I will do a video talking about my 8 favourite Doctor Who writers. Because I have also, I said like a big massive post on it on Facebook and on Instagram. And I will be doing a video on it because I just think these writers are absolutely fantastic. And there are a load more for me to say in person instead of me trying to write it all down. But Malcolm Hulke writes the Sea Devils and I just love it. I absolutely love the story. It is magnificent. It is brilliant and amazing. So, what is your favourite Sea Devil design? Is it basically the Sea Devils? Is it the one from Warriors of the Deep? Is it basically Legend of the Sea Devils? What is your favourite story for the Sea Devils? And if you have listened to the 2 Big Finish audios, the one with Tom Baker and the one with basically Christopher Eccleston, let me know in the comments and see, so I know if it's worth getting basically Hidden Deaths, that box set for the 9th Doctor. I have got the 4th Doctor one. I still need to listen to it. It is on my list. I've got a big list of basically big finishes I do need to listen to because I've brought a load over the last 12 months. And when I say I brought a load, I mean I've brought a flipping load. And I've been given some as fan mail as well. So I have got a big, massive, big finish list I need to sit down and listen to at some point. I might book a week off work in the summer. So me doing anything, I'll just probably sit here in my chair and listen to a ton of Big Finish audios. Have a whole week of just listening to Doctor Who on Big Finish. That sounds like a good week, probably. But yeah, I do basically enjoy the Sea Devils. The Sea Devils, it is my favourite story for them. And I really love the design from that story. So thank you for watching. And join me next time for Monster of the Week, where we talk about a villain. And the villain itself is somebody from the 1980s. And of course, so basically it will be called Monster of the Week and Villains. So thank you for watching, and please do like, subscribe and share, and stay absolutely fantastic, you absolutely amazing lot.